Folks, the longer you applaud, the shorter the monologue. I knew you'd do that. This is the kind of group that would send Michael Milk on a video cassette if Ernest goes to jail. You all in a good mood tonight? We got a good show for you. Hello, where's Tommy? Where's Doc? You see what an impression you make? I didn't know that the good doctor was off tonight. Where is he? Playing a gig somewhere?
He's in Rochester.
Rochester, Minnesota?
No, New York.
Rochester, New York.
Yes.
There is a Rochester, Minnesota, you know, too. That's why I asked.
Yes, well, yeah. He went to pick up some film. Yes.
Okay, anyway. Are you still celebrating? Now, I hope you're still celebrating Earth Day or Earth Week or Earth Year, right? Yes. All right. I'll tell you what I took some of those suggestions they had on the television show last week, the Earth Week special, and I bought some of those biodegradable garbage bags that, you know, when they come in contact with sunlight, they're supposed to fall apart.
Yeah.
That's true. That's opposed to the kind I usually have that fall apart when they come in contact with the garbage. I saw the weirdest headline in the paper. You ever read those specialized newspapers in the newsstand? Okay. Thank you. Have you ever read those papers?
I do.
Thank you, sir. There's an interesting headline in this week's edition of Afterlife News. Did you know there's a thing called Afterlife News? And the headline says, Greta Garbo tells Elvis she wants to be alone. Does anybody here drive, seriously now, a Toyota pickup? Anybody on it? I hope it's there when you get home. You know why? The police study, a report came out that showed that the Toyota pickup is the #1 choice for car thieves in California.
Wow.
Yeah. Hyundais are second on the list. And you know why?
What?
Well, you steal the Hyundai first, and it only gets them as far as the Toyota. Now, the Hyundai people can't sue for that, can they?
No.
What?
Lawsuit.
What do you mean lawsuit?
No, joke.
What do you think?
That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a comedy license. Anyway, the comedy statutes run out at the end of the week. I just made that up. Weird lawsuit in the papers today. This country is the most litigious country in the world. Everybody sues everybody. Do you ever sue anybody? Excuse me. I don't know. We both sued and we've been sued. You ever been sued, Tom?
I've been sued. Yes.
Have you ever sued anybody?
Not yet. No.
Okay. Anyway, one of the original Mouseketeers, did you read that in the paper? Her name is Darlene Gillespie, is suing Disney Productions. You know why? She claims she was cheated out of millions of dollars in royalties over the year. And that goes back, when, to the 50s?
Yeah.
1950s, I guess, right? She was in court yesterday, and she sang her opening argument. Darlene ought to be careful. Remember, they shot Old Yeller. No, the Disney people, don't sue them. God, now who we have? The Hyundai people and the Disney people sue us in one night. Well, Old Yeller's dead, isn't he? Didn't Old Yeller die? Well, he should have. Well, let's see what else is going on. Have you been following the trial of Imelda Marcos in New York? Weird. Yesterday, the prosecutor introduced a piece of luggage which contained 24 gold bars when Mrs. Marcos entered the United States in 1986. They entered it in evidence, and their chief witness was a skycap with a hernia. They say it had 20 gold bricks in a piece of luggage worth $300,000. Now, why in the hell didn't that set off the metal detector? I I can't get on a plane with a fountain pen without the damn thing going on. 24 gold bars. What's happening? The European, yesterday, in Europe yesterday, they did a television broadcast, a tape. Remember the, remember the Romanian leader that was executed, Ceausescu, before a firing squad? Right. They played that on Russian, or not Russian TV, European, I don't know what the hell they did. European television played it, and it got huge ratings. And I think the reason was because of the title, Romania's Funniest Home Videos. They put it on. Well, they have a crazy sense of humor. Who knew? I've been talking this week about the new Baskin Robbins that opened in Moscow. You heard about it? Actually opened over there. I'm not joking, they have only 2 flavors. Vanilla and chocolate. Now, Russia's a great country scientifically, but they're not up to speed on consumer goods. For example, their Thomas English muffins have nooks, but no crannies. And the hot television show over there is One Peak. But in some ways, they're ahead of us. They've got chunky-style cream cheese. That's right. And 12-ply toilet paper, which we don't have yet here. Okay, here's another story out of the paper. This is true. You don't have to make stuff up. Report to what's going on in the news. A woman in Arkansas was held in contempt for not wearing a bra in court. Yeah. Did you read about that?
Yep.
The judge was very tough with her. He yelled at her and says, "Will the defendant approach the bench? Real fast." It's the only known case, as far as I know, in legal history where an appeal was denied because it wasn't upheld. It's the strangest thing. That's right. Hey, you want to go see some Romanian TV? Oh, now here's another true story. What are you laughing at? When I say true story, it's a true story.
I believe you.
I'm not like Myron Cohen, who used to say, "This happened a couple of weeks ago." Myron Cohen's dead too, isn't he? Old Yeller and Myron Cohen, I think, went the same week. Yes. This happened in Ankara, Turkey. True story. A truck was carrying a cow in one of those open bed trucks. They stopped at a traffic light. The cow jumped out of the truck and hopped on the roof of the car next to it. And believe it or not, the car kept going with a cow on top of the roof. But as soon as it went under a bridge, the cow stopped giving milk.
That's a true story?
What?
That's a true story?
A true, unfunny story from Ankara, Turkey. It's like, when you're listening to a radio station, you go under a bridge, you can't hear anything. The same thing with the cow. Folks, you don't get a map with the jokes. You gotta sit and use a little brain power yourself, Remember, radio station, you can't hear a thing? Cow, milk, none. Okay. Anyway, okay, one of my favorite people, funny gentleman, Mr. Robert Klein is with us tonight. NBC has a movie of the week coming up, I believe, Sunday night?
Sunday night, sir.
The Jim and Tammy Baker story called Fall from Grace. We have the gentleman who plays Jim Baker in that movie. His name is Kevin Spacey. Now, I must point out, he is billed to appear, but he may not be out here because he's got so far into the character. We found him hiding under the sofa in the green room. We don't know who he is. And a lovely lady who, I guess, writes a column for a small local newspaper called the What's the name of it? The Frogtown what?
Frogtown is the area.
Frogtown is the area.
That's right.
That is somewhere in Illinois, is it not?
That's right. That's the state.
What?
That's the state.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now you go to the next plateau for the new car. All right. Her name is Mary Peyton Meyer. Mayer. Is it Meyer?
Meyer.
Mary Peyton Meyer. What?
Meyer.
What is that? Peter, is that set tuned all right for you? Peter could look out here, but he's sitting a foot from the set, looking at the set like this. Looks like a frog on a lily pad going. We'll be right back. There we are.
Welcome back.
What? Okay, we're in a good mood tonight. We've got Robert Klein here, Kevin Spacey, the young man who played. What else have I seen him in, that actor?
Oh, lots of
Kevin Spacey.
been in innumerable shows.
You don't know one thing, do you? Didn't think so. And Mary Peyton Meyer, who does write a little column for a local paper.
Right.
It's fascinating. Now, this is what they call pilot season here in Los Angeles or in Hollywood. These are when they tape the shows, hopefully, that will be seen in September. Why do they call them a pilot? 'Cause,
That's a good question, John.
you know, I never thought of that
Yeah.
before. Why would they call a pilot is nothing more than a show that they make in speculation that hopes the first episode they hope will go on the air. But where does the word pilot come from? Does anybody know? We're in the business.
I don't know.
I don't what? To see if it flies?
Hey, that may be it.
Ross Tompkins, who has flown a little bit in his life, should know that. But that's another story. And a rather sad one. What am I doing tonight? Is there a full moon or...
Something.
Have they got the Hubble Space Telescope out yet?
Having problems.
They're having problems, right?
Yes.
Just, you know, that cost $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
And then they got to send the pictures to Photomat. Anyway, what was I talking about? Pilots.
Pilots.
First shows.
New shows.
What?
New shows. Possible shows for the fall.
That's correct. All right, each network, including NBC, spends about $30 million a year on television pilots. In 1988, they made 103. Only 30 of those became series, and only 11 out of those numbers lasted a year. Now, compared to today, that's a pretty good year. A gentleman by the name of Lee Goldberg, who has written a book called Unsold Television Pilots. Fascinating. Describes over 2,600 television pilots filmed between 1955 and 1988. None, apparently, which were good enough to make it in a series. Can you imagine? 2,600 of them? We've typed out a few. These are real now. In 1967, and I can get this authenticated right away, there was a show called Manley and the Mob, produced by Fred DeCordova, starred the late Paul Lynde as a dim-witted private eye, right?
That's right.
And everybody thought it was great, and for some reason, it didn't make it to series.
Politics.
What?
Politics.
Politics, Mr. DeCordova said. And the fact that they also, well, I don't get it that. In 1977, a show called Great Day, it was a pilot supposed to illustrate how fun life is as a kid, as a Skid Row bum in New York's Bowery.
Oh.
Didn't get on the schedule.
Get on a schedule.
Good Against Evil, Dak Rambo. That's an actor, right? As Andy Stewart, a writer with the great misfortune of falling in love with Satan's girlfriend. Hey, folks. In 1979, Samurai. Joe Penny is a San Francisco district attorney by day and a sword-wielding samurai warrior by night.
That didn't make it?
Hey, NBC had a show a few years ago called Exo-Man. Remember that?
Yes.
How many of you remember a show called Exo-Man? That's right.
Yeah.
It was about a guy who was a detective and at night had to get in some kind of hyperbolic chamber.
Right.
Because he turned into a panther or something if he didn't. Didn't get on the schedule. In 1980, Jack Flash, a DMV clerk, is given superpowers by a mysterious dying uncle. Now, those are some of the shows that did not get on, folks.
Yes.
But to get a picture of how bad some of these were, words alone cannot describe them. You have to resort to pictures, right? Which we have done. Let me show you some of these, and watch the monitor, folks, of shows even worse than these. Well, this show here was a dismal failure about a lonely guy who liked to burrow tunnels up under women's tables in restaurants. Yes, this was the original pilot for Twin Peaks. Of all the Saturday morning show pilots, this one missed the mark by the widest measure. From the makers of gummy bears, it's gumming beers. Sure. You have to look at this closely. You see the bottom. You got to see the bottom of the picture there. Oh, you okay? You got that?
Yeah.
This show was a cross between Who's the Boss and Dear John. It was called Who's in the John. They tried. They didn't know. Who knew? From the makers of Baywatch came this regrettable saga about a crack squad of sewer lifeguards called Bay Stench. Well, this is the only show ever canceled between the opening credits and the first commercial. It was called Married with Really Bad Gas Pains. I'm just editing the ones out I think are lesser than the ones we have, which is pretty easy to do. Before he did MASH, Alan Alda starred in this distasteful comedy about a guy who lands the contract to dry clean all the NFL's athletic supporters. It's called Mission Unwashable. And Alan, being the wise guy he is, canceled at that one. Said, no way. I'd have said no way. Fortunately, nobody ever saw this series about a bodybuilding female sleuth who gets confessions by putting her suspects in a skull-crushing headlock. It was entitled Steroids She Took. Later on, Angela Lansbury did, Murder, She Wrote, but this was the leader. I'm just saving you a lot of... Okay. This would-be sitcom was about the end of a long-term friendship between a mob hitman and his informant friend. It was called Driving Mr. Hood Ornament. I'm going to finish with this one. This is the big one.
All right.
Mike, I'm editing as we go along here. No. No. No.
No.
Wildlife shows are usually popular with the public, but there were no takers for this show. Mutual of Central Park's Wild Kingdom. You should have seen it. Hey, should have seen the ones I threw out. Should be grateful. All right. This was one of the most reality shows which recreated excruciating shotgun injuries. It was called America's Most Wounded. And
Now, your personal favorite.
my personal favorite, from the creators of Anything But Love, came this failed airline series, Anything But Those Damn Honey-Roasted Almonds. We'll be right back. Stay where you are. Folks, now, to the business at hand. My first guest has been writing a newspaper column for I think it's Vandalia Leader Union in Southern Illinois for 69 years. We thought you might like to meet her. She's from Frogtown, Illinois. Would you welcome Mary Peyton Meyer? Mary? Get comfortable.
Greetings from Frogtown.
Yeah, okay. I accept those greetings.
Good.
And greetings from us. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Whereabouts now? First of all, is Frogtown, I thought it was an area, or is it an actual town?
Don't you know where Frogtown is?
No, I don't, Mary.
It's a suburb of St. Peter and Logotee and Chickenfoot and all the way down the line.
I didn't know that.
You come down and I'll take you a tour.
I will.
You betcha.
I'm from the Midwest. I grew up.
See, I invited you to go along. I told him I'd bring you back. Can you go home with us?
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, that's what I want.
Are you going to have a little brandy, Mary, have you?
No.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
You got your fire going a little bit here, haven't you?
You betcha that's the only reason I got
all
up
right.
here.
I'll accept your invitation to visit Frogtown
Good
sometime.
deal.
Sounds good. Now, how long have you been writing? Is it a column or a... I've got a copy of the... This is it right here, is it?
Right.
The, did I pronounce Vahalia or what is it?
Vandalia.
Vandalia. Leader Union. How long you been doing this?
Only 69 years?
Only 69 years. Now, are you missing an edition for being out here tonight?
No,
I mean,
I'll be home in time to get it written up Sunday and Monday, and it'll go in next week.
oh, I see. This is a weekly, huh?
Right.
Yeah. Do you like... Is it a gossip column or what exactly?
No, I don't write gossip.
I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean something like the tabloids, like, you know, the Inquirer, the Star, and those things. Those are real gossipy. But I mean, you know, just what would you call gossip? Something that somebody shouldn't know about somebody else in town?
It hurts somebody's feelings. I don't want to do that.
Well, of course. Well, that's nice of you. Did you ever get tips on somebody calls you and says, Mary, you know, did you hear about so-and-so?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
You bet.
And what do you do about it?
Well, if I think it's fit to write, I write it down, send it in.
Yeah.
They print it.
Yeah? What's the raciest thing that's ever happened? Or can you talk about it?
I don't believe I better tell it.
Well, then something's not quite so racy, but a little bit.
I don't hardly know.
Somebody running off with somebody's wife, does that
Oh,
happen?
that wouldn't do. Because there's too many of them. I couldn't name them all.
You remember that Frogtown. Okay. Is everybody watching you tonight? How big is Frogtown?
Oh, it's got about 10 people.
Oh, come on now.
No, that's them out there.
10 people?
If you move back, then we'll have 11.
That would be right.
Right.
Yeah, and if Ed went with us, we'd have...
That'd be 12.
Yes, right.
Right.
And each additional person would just keep going.
We've got this schoolhouse there, which has not been used for years.
You got a schoolhouse?
Frogtown School. I went there and I taught there.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not serious.
Oh, you didn't? You didn't teach there, or you did teach there?
Yeah, I taught there.
What did you teach?
I taught all grades. When I
Was that one of those years of with all grades went to one
That's way
schoolhouse?
back there, before your time.
Well, I know, but I remember schoolhouses in Nebraska where kids in the country went from, I think, grades through 1 through 7, all
Right.
at the same time.
Right.
And you taught all those
Right.
students.
I taught that, not Frogtown, but all them schools for 19 years and 23 years in town in the 2nd grade.
You did?
Yes.
So you had to teach all subjects then?
When I was in the country.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. And you went to school there yourself?
School there myself, and I taught there.
Yeah. Now, is everybody in Frogtown watching?
Well, I hope they are. They've got their tape set from Florida to California to get this done. I hope we do it right.
What do you mean? Well, I'll do my best.
Well, good. That's what I'm doing.
You mean they got their tape recorders ready to tape this?
Ready to tape it.
Aren't they going to stay up and watch it, or they go to bed? You mean that early?
They can't get this till we get it on at 11:30, but they'll get it.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a break here.
If they don't, we're going to come back and do it over.
Okay, that's a deal. That's a deal. So what you're saying is... So what you're really telling me, I got to do this right, or it's...
You better believe
Are you
it.
coming back?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mary. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and do some more, all right? You enjoying it? What a good band. Good. If you just joined us, we're talking with Mary Peyton Meyer, who for 69 years has been writing this is a big column. This is a lot. Do you ever have trouble filling the space every week?
No, sometimes it's larger and sometimes smaller.
Depending on what's happening. Is there any big scoop thing that we should know about that's happening in Frogtown this week?
Not particular. Not particular.
Not particular. Can I read a couple of items?
Well, sure.
Well, let's see here. It says, let's see, Etta Oglesby, is that right?
Right.
You know most of these people,
Oh,
I would assume,
sure.
right? Etta Oglesby and Mr. and Mrs. Melvin Branaham
Yes.
were Mount Vernon shoppers on Saturday.
Right. That's news.
That's that whole item right there. And a good shopping time was had by all, I assume, yeah. Several from our vicinity enjoyed the corned beef and cabbage dinner at the Catholic Church in Vandalia.
Right, I was there and it was good.
Good corned beef and cabbage, okay. There's a lot of fascinating things here. Let's see what else is going on. You must understand, I'm not making fun of this. I come from a small town.
Oh, that's all right.
Oh, no, let's see what
Our
else.
town's not so small.
What, 10 people's not small?
That's all right.
Well, let's see. Sandy Gillis of Burbank, California.
Right.
All right, Burbank. Visited by phone with me on Friday, March 16th. She invited me to come to Los Angeles to be on the Johnny Carson show in the near future. And that's
That's what I call news.
now we're talking. Now we're talking news. Yeah.
Right.
Now, do you get most of your stories that people call you and tell you about, or you actually get on the phone and do a little?
I get on the phone and call. They bring it to me. They send it by the mail.
Yeah. Do people try to get in your column? You know,
Oh,
is that
yeah, they want in there, sure.
Yeah, they want their name mentioned, huh?
Sure.
Yeah. So you've been doing this 16
I'll
years?
have it in there next week, and I'll visit with Johnny.
Oh, well,
in case you decide to go home with me, and then I'll say you're going home with me.
Okay. Would you send me a copy of the paper?
I'll send a copy.
Well, now you promised, because I want to see if I'm going to be in this paper.
You'll get that paper,
No.
and if you're coming to Frogtown, you better make arrangements so we
Okay.
can make a place.
Okie dokie. You mean it's that crowded? I mean, 10 people? Okay, now, you're not there now. Suppose somebody's trying to call you. You have an answering machine?
Oh, no, but they know I'm gone. Everybody knows it's in the TV guide all over.
Oh, I see. Okay. They give you any advice when you came here?
Yes, they did.
What'd they say?
They told me, some of them told me to wear black. I said I wasn't going to wear black. They couldn't bury me in black.
Now, this is great. This is great.
They said, what are you going to wear? I've got a nephew in Florida. He said, Aunt Mary, you wear red.
And he's right.
He's right.
Yeah, you look beautiful.
And I have a coach.
Yeah?
That's my boyfriend. Told me to blow this whistle, and if they don't behave, to blow it.
Yeah. Jump ball. Time out. Time out. Yeah. Do you wear that whistle around your office? Now, where do you do this? From your home?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I wear this whistle to school.
Oh, you do?
And I settle them kids down at school. I don't scream all day at them.
To keep them in line, huh?
Keep them in line.
Yeah. You said you said one of your children is here with you tonight?
One of my boys.
One of your boys?
My little boy's right out there.
Your little boy's how old?
Well, he's past voting age.
You don't want to tell?
He's 59.
Well, that's all right. That's a little boy.
Sure is.
Yeah, they're always little boys, no matter how old they get, right?
That he is. He's my little boy.
Yeah.
You betcha.
Well, are you going to stay in California for a while now, Mary?
Oh, mate. No, not if you're going home with us.
Well, I can't go home with you, darling. I got to be here. I got shows to do.
Oh, they're
people to see,
expecting me
places
to bring
to
you
go.
home with us.
What?
Well, what am I going to tell when I get home?
Tell them I'll take a rain check.
Okay, that'll be fine.
And as soon as my schedule permits,
They're coming to
and as soon as I can make arrangements, and those arrangements may be very heavy.
We'll take you to Bluff City where they play the best music. Well, it's about as good as this.
Bluff City, gateway to Frogtown. Okay. Well, Mary, thanks for the invitation. You're a delightful person.
Well, thank you.
Did you have a good time?
Had a good time.
All
Great.
right. Well, we'll check in with you, and you send me the paper.
I'll do so. And you're coming to Frogtown.
Well, I'm making arrangements. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I have a feeling if I don't head for Frogtown, they're going to come and get me. Robert Klein is here. Stay where you are. And Kevin Spacey also. Okay, my next guest, you all know, here's a good friend who's been here many times, fine actor and comedian, and Robert's in a new movie that's just coming out called Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. Would you welcome Robert Klein? Good to see you. Oh, they know. You do a great theremin.
20 years in the business, that's what it amounts to. On my tombstone, it'll say, did an excellent woo-woo, you know.
That's like the theremin. Do you remember
It's a
that?
theremin. I imitated theremin.
From Spellbound?
Maybe they were the first ones to use the theremin.
Yeah,
Tommy usually knows that sort of thing.
Yeah. What's happening in New York? Anything we should know about? You spend most of your time there now?
Yeah. Oh, there's a funny thing happening in the Bronx. They don't want the image to be bad.
I know what they're doing.
I mean,
They're doing a bonfire of the vanities.
Yeah.
And they're upset that they're giving a bad image of the Bronx, right?
Yeah, come on, come off. It's my hometown, but let's go, fellas. A couple of things have happened there. You know, I had such an annoying experience today. I came out today, and my light didn't work in the plane.
Oh, the overhead light?
Spending I want to read, and those are the things that are really getting it in the deregulation.
Right.
You know, they said, please, sir, we're landing. Please put your seat up. I can't. I'm the only one that lands like this. You know, those little things.
The seat won't go up.
And this actually this actually happened. This incident was repeated recently. I won't mention any names of airlines, but it's all true.
All right.
A three-engine plane going from Tucson, this happened 7 years ago, going from Tucson to L.A., dropped an engine. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Fell right off. Cockpit is the last to know, indeed. You know, it's better with this sucker, you know. Anyway, it fell into Tucson about, you know, very near a peyote farmer whose life has changed considerably. You see, seeing a big engine coming at you is worse than the whole plane because it looks like a hydrogen bomb coming at, you know, right at you. And here's how it happened, and I'm not making this up because it was an Aviation Week in Space Technology division. It was deferred maintenance. There was a leaky lavatory in this plane. So, you know, they're strung out for the planes. They need the planes. Well, the engine's all right. Oh, yeah, but the lavatory, the hell with it, you know. And they go about 25 more cycles with the vibrations, landing and up. And what happened was a leak formed at 37,000 feet. It's about 65 below zero Fahrenheit. A crack in the back of the plane by the lavatory, and you know, outside the plane, a tremendous chunk of frozen urine formed on the plane. At the back of the plane, a berg, if you will. One way of describing it. Looking for just the right expression.
Yes.
And it not only made the plane somewhat less aerodynamic. You're an old fly jockey yourself. You know, what's wrong with this? You know, they're giving it off about it. And it came off, and as my father would say, bingo, took the engine with it. And I you know, it's those little things, and I think deregulation, a lot of wonderful things happen. New York to L.A., $120, but little loopholes. L.A. to San Diego to fly, $2,500. So I am organizing a passive resistance. I love the aviation industry. They do a great job, but they're getting too persnippety. And I told everyone I know to order a kosher meal. Jew and Gentile alike. Throws them into chaos. They have to give it to you. And for those of you who don't know, I mean, I don't, you know, have to eat kosher food myself. The meat must be killed a certain ritualistic way. And then there's glop, very ultra orthodox kosher, in which the animal must be killed a certain way, and the person who kills the animal must be killed a certain way.
That's a very tough sect.
A very esoteric form of sect of Judaism. And it can't be any worse than what they already serve. And it throws them into chaos, and they well earned it with this. And you have to put up with a little self-conscious banter, you know, before the plane talk. Will the Jew who ordered the kosher meal please make himself known to flight attendant Vicky? Repeat, will the Jew who ordered the kosher meal, Mr. Burger? Are you the Jew, sir? Please, we're counting Jews. May I see your genitalia, sir? We have the Jew here. 2 more low sodium. We're all set.
Give me a break. Give me a break. Now, look. Are we going to get a chance to show this film clip?
Oh, we have a film clip.
Yeah, because you're in a movie here.
Yeah. All right, the film clip.
Yeah, does this need an explanation?
All right, it's a horror. You know my.
Yes.
Suffice it to say, this was written by the guy that wrote Beetlejuice. This one of the 3 films in it. Crazy things have been happening in this house. We can't reveal to you the actual terror of it. So you'll just get a little hint of it here.
What's the monitor?
Tales from the Dark Side.
From Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
So happy anniversary.
You know, you saved Preston from people like me.
She saved me from myself.
Time to go. This kind of sincerity is bad for my self-image.
Good night, Wyatt.
Night, Wyatt.
Taxi! Taxi!
I hate this neighborhood. Can't get a cab here ever.
I don't want to know. It's pretty horrifying.
We'll be back. Stay where you are. We'll be Okay, this Sunday night on NBC, there's a special movie called Fall from Grace, which is the story of Jim and Tammy Baker. Bernadette Peters is one of the stars, and the gentleman who plays Jim Baker is with us tonight, Kevin Spacey. Kevin? Good to see you.
Thank you.
This has got to be a hot movie.
It was great. It was absolutely astounding to play a role like this.
Yeah.
In fact, my friends are sick of me because I've been preaching at them for weeks. I can't get rid of it.
How'd this role come about? Did you have to audition or something for it?
I think Pat Sajak turned it down, so...
What? Now, what is it like? And poor Jim Baker, he's had a lot of misfortune, and of course he's in jail.
Yeah.
You've never met him, obviously.
No, I never did.
But you have plenty of tapes and plenty of film, I guess, to study.
There was a lot. I mean, there was so much PTL stuff and all the interviews after the trial, all during when the scandal happened, that I felt like to meet him would to be a man who probably, after what he'd gone through, was pretty defeated and beaten.
Yeah.
As opposed to the one that I had to play, which was when he was really at the peak of his power, his popularity, and then we begin to see it crumble in the film.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the preaching scenes were great fun.
You know, how did you change a little bit to
Yeah,
get,
we did a few things physically. We put a wig on, and we had a pretty uncomfortable dental appliance.
He has kind of a little puffy face.
Yeah, nuts.
He always looks a little something like you'd catching your headlights on a country road. You know, that's my first...
Well, we had a dental appliance that fit up into here, and it was rather uncomfortable for the first 5 or 6 days, and it kind of gave me a lisp until we got it right. So for the first couple of scenes, it sounded like Daffy Duck had been cast in.
Gee, I'm a sinner. Oh, gee.
And you had... And you say the one scene, I guess, where you did with a whole congregation?
We shot the preaching scenes up here in Pasadena.
Right.
At a little church. We had about 200 extras.
Right.
32-person choir behind me. Tammy on the other side, Bernadette Peters, who's wonderful, singing a song called Mercy. And I had really looked forward to working up to showing Baker in his element. I wanted to rock this hall.
Right.
So I was rebuking the devil. I was rebuking that spirit that tells you you're no good. I was rebuking pneumonia, and the 5.5 earthquake hits.
You're kidding. While you were doing this?
I'm telling you, I was out that door and in the parking lot. I thought we'd gone too far.
Getting to them, huh? Do we have a little piece of...
We have to run it right now.
Well, let's run it. I'd like to... Let's run it right now. This is Fall from Grace from the Sunny. Let's...
Tammy.
Hi, honey.
Merry Christmas, honey.
Merry Christmas.
I got you a Christmas gift. You want to see what Santa Claus brought?
What, something good?
Well, I didn't have time to get it gift wrapped, but Reverend Dorch has signed on as PTL's new executive vice president.
If I meet with your approval.
My approval. Praise the Lord. Stay right there. I want to come down there and hug you.
Well, let's go look for office space. Now, I think you should have a view of the Heritage Lake.
Nothing to offer.
Jim?
But yes.
Jim, I need you a minute.
Oh, all right. Just a minute, Richard. I'll be right back. Make it 59 seconds.
I'm writing a memo to payroll to authorize your Christmas bonus. Was that amount net or gross?
Well, now, Kathleen, you know I always leave the boardroom when they vote me money, but I'm sure that they meant the $50,000 to be tax-free.
Does that go for Tammy's bonus, too?
Well, now, there's no double standard at PTL. Women get equal treatment.
Take a break. We're coming right back. I'm glad we got that in. Yeah. There we are. We'll be back. Okay, we just have time to thank everybody. Kevin, thanks for dropping by.
Thank you.
And it's this Sunday night on NBC, I guess 9 to 11, I suppose, around the country, or 8 to 10 Central, as they say. Good luck with it.
Than't you.
And, Bob, when's the movie out?
Yes, sir. I think next week. Tales from
the Dark Side.
2. Very scary.
movie.
Not for the faint-hearted.
Thanks for being here, and have a nice plane trip back.
I will.
They'll be waiting for you. Next week, Dabney Coleman will be here, Terry Garr, John Ronald, Yakov Smirnoff, Richard Jenny, Rita Rudner, Rondell Sheridan, some other people we're trying to get in touch with. Have a nice weekend. Good night. I'm humbled by that applause.